kit, you might have one larger snowman or two smaller ones. So each snowman should have a hat, a carrot, and a scarf. And we're gonna paint each part and then we'll put it together, and you'll need some glue. And you could use any glue. You could use an Elmer's, a school glue, glue stick, wood glue, any glue that you have. So I am going to take all my pieces off my snowman, because the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to paint our snowman. So you are going to need a paper towel and some water, and then I have the paints that were in my kit laid out. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint my big snowman. You're going to put 2 coats of white on him. So just put the first coat, let it dry for a second, then put a second one. And when you paint, do your edges as well. Alrighty, let's start painting. So I put 2 coats on this little snowman, and we're gonna set him aside to dry. Once he dries, we'll add some glitter and all that fun stuff, but we will set him aside to dry. While he's drying, I am gonna get my little pieces. So I know right away carrot nose is gonna be orange. So I'm just gonna paint that orange. I'm gonna wash my brush and dry it before I move on to my orange. And once again, 2 coats. When we're painting, we're putting 2 coats on everything. But I think I'm gonna paint everything 1 coat and then come back and put a second coat. All right, so then I'm carrot nose. I'm gonna make this kind of traditional and do like a nice black hat. And the scarf is where you could add like your pops of color. But you could really do anything you want. If you want to give him a blue nose, give him a blue nose. It is your artwork. You could kind of do whatever you'd like. So then I have my scarf. Oops. My scarf I'm going to make blue, I think. And your hands will get a little messy. Make sure you roll up your sleeves on your shirt too. I should do that right now, just so you don't get any paint on your shirt. All right, I put my first coat on, and now I'm gonna do my second. Second coat on everything. Now I'm gonna let these go aside and dry a little bit. Once they dry, we're gonna add some details. So I'm gonna switch this around so I have a clean little surface. And you could just put newspapers underneath sometimes, or a magazine, or any scrap paper that you have. It'll just protect whatever you're painting on. All right, next we're going to make some detail. We're going to put some details into the snowman. So he's not really going to have eyes, so I'm just going to make him like little pink cheeks. So what I'm going to do is I have some red paint in my palette, and I'm going to put some red paint on the cap, and then I'm going to mix some white paint into it. So red and white make pink. So then I'm going to take that pink, and I'm just going to make 2 little marks for my cheeks, and then I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to dab them. So it gets a really light pink. Yeah. Okay. All right, so I added my pink cheeks. Next, what we could do is you could add some buttons. So you could put some buttons down his tummy. I'm gonna do them, I'm not gonna do them black. I'm gonna do some red details in my scarf, so I'm gonna make some red buttons. So all I'm gonna do is take a little red paint. You can do whatever color you like. And I'm just gonna add some little circles. And I'm not making them perfect circles. These are supposed to be like coal-ish, so I'm leaving it like coal. All right, so then I have my little details. My next little detail on my body is, since it's a snowman, and since he's made of snow, I'm gonna use some of the clear glitter, and I'm just gonna put some clear glitter. I'm gonna avoid my buttons, but I'm just gonna put some clear glitter on the sides of his body, and some in his face too. Alrighty, so I have my glitter. looks beautiful. Now I'm gonna get my scarf is next. So for my scarf, I'm gonna move him up here. For my scarf, I'm gonna put some red details. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna use the back of my brush, and I'm just gonna make some red polka dots. So using the back of the brush, if you dip and then dot, dip, dot, dip, dot. That one isn't. And it leaves you like little polka dots. And typically the bigger the brush, I gave you guys a small brush, but the bigger the brush, the bigger the handle, so it'll be a little bigger polka dots. Beautiful. So then I have my little polka dots over there. So then to my nose and my hat, I'm just gonna add a little dry brushing. So I'm gonna wash and dry my brush. And then I'm gonna put a tiny bit of white on it. And once I have that tiny bit of white, I'm gonna use that paper towel to take off most of the paint. And what I'm gonna just do is you have your brush should kind of look like this. I'm just gonna put like white on just the edges. It almost gives it a frosty effect. So I'm gonna do that on my hat. My hat's still drying a little bit, so I have to just be careful. I probably will make a little gray, but that's okay. Just on my edges. And if you feel like you mess up something on this, you just paint it black over or paint orange over the nose. I like that little frost. Even though my polka dots aren't completely dry, I'm going to put a little frost on my scarf as well. So I'm just going to do the edges. I'm going to avoid those polka dots. Put a little frost. All right, so I'm going to let all that dry, probably for about 10 minutes, and then you need to come back with some glue and then we'll put it together. All right, so all my pieces are dry. The glitter still looks a little shimmery, but it's pretty much dry. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna glue everything together. So if you see, I kind of placed my scarf. My scarf kind of blocks my one little red button, but that's okay. So you're just gonna flip over everything and start putting glue on the back of it. Now you could use, I'm using a wood glue, but you could use an Elmer's or even a glue stick will work, anything that you have. So I put a little glue and then I kind of wiped it. And then all you have to do is just gently put everything down. I'm going to have the nose going to the side and my hat's going to be a little tilted. So once you have everything on, we're gonna let this dry. I would let it dry for at least an hour, but to be safe, you could let it dry for a day, and then it's ready and it stands, so you could stand it in your room or on a shelf or anything. So I wanna wish you guys a happy winter, and I hope you had fun with me.